In today's video, we're going to talk about what you can do when you can't get your machining fix from YouTube or from the Cam Instructor blog. Whenever you're discussing machining, it's usually best if you can have a visual of what's going on, and that's why things like YouTube and Instagram are so popular with the machining crowd. But there's still times when machinists, we drive around in our cars, and obviously in our cars we can't look at videos. So what can we do to get our machining fix when we don't have access to YouTube, or the best resource for your machining fix would be the Cam Instructor blog.
Yeah, good one.
So today we're going to talk about some podcast options. Obviously, podcasts are becoming more and more popular with online streaming, and there's basically a podcast on absolutely any topic imaginable. So obviously, we can find some on machining as well. So we're going to look at some of my favorite ones, and we'll start off with a newer one called Within Tolerance. So the Within Tolerance podcast, they talk about machining. Here in their description, you can see everything from machine shop work, CAD, CAM, and manufacturing processes. There are two gentlemen, Peyton and Dylan, and the one works for Brick Tactical and the other for Protium Machining. So some good episodes in there. They get into some interesting topics and definitely worth a listen. The next one I'm going to bring up is called the Lathe Nite podcast. So a little play on words here, late night podcast, Lathe Nite.
Well, I don't understand.
So these two gentlemen, we've got Dennis and Eric. And even given the picture, you can tell that maybe some of the discussions here may get sidetracked from time to time due to some consumption of beverages. But again, they stay to the point of machining and well worth a listen. Another newer podcast, and that is the Machinist Therapy Hotline. There is 4 gentlemen on this panel: Shane, Jody, Tony, and Albert. Topics are very wide-ranging, not a PG show by any means, but discussing all kinds of topics from shop ownership to shop machining problems. Here in this episode here, they discussed a lot about the new Y-axis parting that is getting a lot of buzz recently, pros and cons, applications where they've had success and also failures. And the last one, the Making Chip guys. These guys have been around for a while. They've got lots of episodes. These two gentlemen, I believe it's Jim and Jason. Sorry, I was having a brain block there. I believe these two guys are both from Chicago. One owns a machine shop, the other a tooling company. And these guys tend to focus more on the business side of machining, but they still do get into your everyday shop problems and discussions. But again, this is more so on the management side of the business, more topics that are relevant to that crowd. But again, great stuff, great podcasts, always interesting and informative. So those are my top 4 machining podcasts at this time. I'll link all 4 of these in the blog here, and they will link back to the Spotify link. If you use a different podcast player, then simply searching for one of these titles in your player, and it should return this their feed, and you can subscribe to it and listen at your leisure.